Snowball, AirPods. It's a dub.
Lucas, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you, bro. Can you hear me?
Yeah. I don't. Javi said they might be able to hear us talking right now, so don't say anything stupid.
I wasn't planning on it, bro. No worries.
Love the blue snowball.
I appreciate that, bro. This is the travel setup. Low key, it's the first time I've used it. I brought it halfway around the world.
I like this setup, man. See, I want to set up like this. How do we set this up like that?
So this is all this is a snowball microphone, this Ring camera here,
No, I like
and then
behind him. I like what's behind you though.
at the crib.
Oh, that's
I
like
like
all my
it.
laundry on the floor and
Is it?
food. Yeah,
Oh,
like
I
we're
thought it was,
building.
dude. It's really small, so it looks like you have like crypto articles.
No, this is just we live out of Airbnbs.
Oh,
Yeah, close the
good
door,
for
bro.
So we're gonna be starting here soon, y'all. We're gonna be starting here soon. We're waiting for one more person to come on. So nice pink pants. These pink pants are those. like
Pink
it.
shirt, and it was a Dante.
Mm.
He's very flamboyant.
Yes, I see that. Those of you that are waiting, in the chat, put down any questions that you have. We'll open up for Q&A. I'd like you guys to put down as many questions as possible. We'll pick through your questions throughout this. So in the chat, if you got any questions, put them in now. What?
Can I put you on screen now?
No, not yet.
I'm sure glad you told everyone over here that we shouldn't say anything terrible. I was afraid someone was going to drop a racial slur.
Hey, man, anytime I talk to you, I always have to warn you.
I know Dante's over here, bro. He's going to say something horrible.
You said your intern.
Yeah.
Am I still bullish on Chain Swap? Absolutely. Did you see it today?
Is it up?
Yeah, it's up big. So is
Dubsky, how much?
LimeWire. It's up like 50-60% today, or 50% today.
Sheesh. See, the funny
LimeWire's
thing
up.
is that like everyone always complains, and then like the most random shit pumps. It's like, oh well, did you sell the
Yeah.
bottom?
I feel you. All right. Well, I wish we could do this on TikTok too, but we will. We will. I think we'll try to do this next week when my TikTok's not taken down and banned. So
That's crazy. Crazy work, bro.
for real.
I'm on stream,
We'll
by
put-
the way, Justin.
How many do you
I'm
think
on
is
stream.
actual bots, Lucas? We have like 950 people on now. How many of them do you think are bots?
My rule of thumb is at least half. It's the same as TikTok. Although I don't know, TikTok or X really promotes these live streams, so it's like I'd be more curious about the average watch time per viewer. That's what
We'll
I'd be
look at it
curious to
after.
see.
All right, cool. Well, I'm going to see where he's at. He should be coming on here soon. We're going to be starting here in a minute, guys. He's joining now, so go ahead. He's and launch it. All right. I like it. What is up, Blockchain Boy? In his Airbnb, yeah, now it's a lot bigger of a picture, so I can tell that it's just food behind you. It looked like you had like Dragon Ball Z like balls behind you. I swear to God.
I had a couple of balls behind me, but it was my intern, so you know.
So we're gonna get started here in a little bit, guys. Leave comments of questions that you guys have today for Matthias and Lucas. Matthias is coming on here soon. He is the founder of Cyclix Games, and I'm super excited to have him on. He'll be on here soon. So TikTok sucks. Freedom of speech. Yeah, for real. It's funny. Everybody's messaging me right now, bro. I can see you live on X, and it comes up right away. But when you go live on TikTok, I don't see you. And I think it's because I wore a MAGA hat one time. And there we go. Look at this guy. Look at this handsome man. What's going
Matthias.
on, man?
Put you guys on the big screen.
Awesome.
It's so funny
Awesome,
because
awesome.
as much as I talk to Matthias, I almost never see his face. So it's like
That's true.
it's kind of nice to see the boys together.
Let me.
I like it.
There you go.
You're good. We can
This-
see you fine, hear you fine. I
Good,
like your
good.
setup there.
How's it going, guys?
Good, man. I want to say, first off, everybody that's watching, so Matthias it's 6 a.m. where he is.
It is.
And so, that is some dedication. I had no idea, so I'm sorry about that.
It's fine. I usually start around 7:30, so I was like, okay, let's do it. I thought it was gonna be audio only, but then Ty hit me up. He's like, hey, it's video. I'm like, all right, let's do it. So
I'm sorry. That man, I got to put Javi more in charge of talking to you guys than me. I have so much going on. I forget to tell everybody.
no, it's fine. How's
So,
it, Lucas? What, 10, 11?
It's 9:30 over here.
Well, let's get started here. I'm sure you Lucas, you want to go hang out with your boys, and Matthias, I'm sure you got a lot
Hang
to do. Your
out.
days
Like
about
I'm
to
not
get
going back
started.
to work after this. That's so funny.
Yeah. So, anyways, thank you for being here. For those of you guys, I'm going to kind of give you a soft introduction, and then I'm going to let you take it away and kind of explain to people who you are and what you've done in the past. I think that'll be really good. And obviously, we're going to clip this into a bunch of content for other platforms later. So it's going to be awesome. But and we'll open it up for Q&A and things like that. So anyways, yeah, Matthias, am I saying it correctly? Is it Matthias?
Yeah,
or
Matthias. Yeah, it's all good.
Matthias.
Matthias,
Where are
yeah.
you located? First off, where are you located?
Right,
Where you,
right
you're
in Dubai.
in Dubai. Okay, awesome,
Right now,
awesome.
yep.
And we've met before. We did a live stream
Yep.
on TikTok. What was it? Like
I think it was like
6 months ago.
week one after TGE, so probably mid-April.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Cyclix was a lot lower in price then. I remember that.
Oh yeah. We just launched. It just pulled back a bit. I mean, we hit all-time highs probably 2 weeks ago. And now I think it's around 140 something. But yeah, it's been
150 today.
quite 150. It's been quite the journey. When you and I talked, I think it was hovering on like 60 or 70 cents. So since then, at least a 2x. And from launch, it's been a 20, 25x. So it's been, the like pre-sale buyers and early buyers are happy. So
you're
been a good
holding
experience for
strong,
them.
and that's important. You're holding strong, right?
Yep.
Especially in this market we've had the last 6 months. And you guys are still building, and there's some rumors going around of stuff that you guys got coming in the pipeline. We'll talk about today. But I mean, kind of give a little bit of a background. I know you played professional tennis. You're very competitive. When I'm looking at a project, I want to know who's behind it. I want to know, quite frankly, with lack of a better word, if they're killers or if they're little bitches. And obviously, the fact that you've gone that far in a sport tells me that you have some type of that killer mindset in you, and it's translated into business from Web 2 stuff. So I don't know what you want to get into, but I'll kind of give you free reign because people are here to know who you are and why Cyclix, right? So I'll kind of let you take it from there.
Yeah. So I don't come from the Web3 world, right? So I come from Web 1. This is way before even social media. So I started selling online over 20 years ago on eBay, and I used to review video games over 20 years ago, and I would get the video game for free, review it, and then that would gather dust at home. And my mom one day was like, "Hey, we're going to throw these video games away because there's like a pile of 50 games. I said, no, let me see if I can do something with them. And I started selling them on eBay when I was still a teenager, like over 20 years ago. And that kind of opened the door to selling and doing something online. And then after that, so this is while I was training as a pro athlete, got injured early, retired at age 21. I played on the World Junior Tour. I was lucky to play against some of the legends like Rafael Nadal, Novak Djokovic in the juniors. So those, if you follow tennis, you know who those guys are.
Sure.
All Hall of Famers now. So trained. I was coached by Roger Federer's coach. So very, very fortunate to kind of have the killer instinct and the killer mindset given to me, taught to me from a very young age, because it's talk about PvP. There's nothing more PvP than tennis. You go, it's 1-on-1, 2-on-2 on a tennis court, and only one winner at the end. There's no draw. So, that's how you grow up. Taking that from so pro sports, retiring in 2007. Pro sports is grueling too. It's very difficult in the sense that once you stop, everything stops, right? In tennis, there's very few players that get contracts, so it's really like you eat what you kill, and so it trains your mindset in a way that's very different to team sports where there's a guaranteed contract. So 2007, I retired, and then I started building businesses, mainly in the online advertising space, so very familiar with media buying, advertising. Since then, built several agencies, so marketing agencies, advertising agencies, and built brands. I was the first CEO in Europe to be interviewed by Facebook, so Meta, because we were, I had office space in London, over 50 employees in London too. So, ran very successful Web 2 businesses. And 2020, was fortunate to sell several of my Web 2 businesses at the peak during COVID. That was opportunity meets timing meets luck, and sold several of those, retired. And I was always interested in crypto. I bought Bitcoin in 2017. Wasn't really into it as much as today, just because I was still running my Web2 businesses. But then when I retired in 2020 from Web2, I still have a portfolio of businesses, but just much less involved today. I was like, okay, I have time to do this. And my first, let's say, real crypto experience was in DeFi Summer. And that was when it's like, okay, this is a completely new world. But I'd done this in Web 1 and Web 2, and for Web 3, I like both of you guys and many people watching here. It's a very difficult world to navigate. There's a lot of scams. I've been in dozens of industries, whether it's my own investments. So I've never raised money outside of crypto. The first raise happened this year with Cyclic. So before that, it was always bootstrapped, meaning my own money, trying to invest and getting a return on investments. And in crypto, it's wild, the amount of scams. Like, everyone is out to scam each other. It's something that you see in other industries. So I've had to adjust my mindset a lot, just as a user, of course, as an investor, as a token holder. But then on the building side, everything actually came from being scammed. So last December, I bought a token like many of you, and the token went to zero. The developer disappeared, and there were over 1,200 people in the Telegram group of that particular project. The project was like many others, nothing special. It was just something that I thought was interesting. And I actually connected Lucas to the developer. And that's how Lucas and I met. I was like, hey, I bought into this project. They're looking for KOLs. This might be interesting. And so we were in a group chat together. And a few days later, thank God Lucas didn't take that deal, because a few days later, that project, that token rugged, and the developer disappeared.
And I bought it too. So we all got rugged.
I bought it too.
It was very funny.
Yeah. Oh,
What was the project? I wonder if I bought it.
It was Juno Moneta.
Tiny.
Moneta.
Tiny project. It was like
very small, yeah.
It was a tiny little project that we were trading in my Telegram, because what's really interesting is just how much tied into my Telegram group this whole project has been. I met Matthias before he was doxed to me as just someone in my Telegram, casual crypto enjoyer, and we had connected over that project because it was interesting tokenomics. It wasn't like the craziest project in the world, but it was enough to be interesting. And that's kind of where it started, is like, well, this guy just rugged us. Matthias was like, I kind of want to experiment with crypto. And I was like, okay, well, I've seen a lot of people build in the space, and some do it well and some do it terribly. I worked at Downmaker last cycle, and, invested in or helped, over 100 different projects that like got massive amounts of funding, and on some of the biggest exchanges and some of the biggest names involved, which isn't always a good thing, as I learned, and I lost a lot of money, but it was a great learning experience. And so Matthias was like, I really want to get involved in the building space. And he was like, would you be interested in helping me do that? And I was like, well, I could see some potential there, because Matthias had actually talked to me and doxed me privately and flew all the way from Dubai to Orlando, which no one had ever done that before for me. I've worked with a lot of people. Usually it's like, you never know if someone's going to be there the next day, or if they're going to delete their Telegram and fly to, Bali with your money, right? Which has happened to me this cycle. But, he flew out, and, he met me, and he was very serious about it. And he said, I want to build a couple projects this cycle. He explained the vision of CoinRock and of where, he wanted to take things. And I said, okay, cool. Like, I see the vision here, but also, it's hard for me to trust people in this space. And I was like, all right, bring me something I can work with, get it to a point. And I was like, what if we did a casino? That'd be a great first project. Cause like for me, my whole thesis from an investment perspective or a building perspective is I want to be involved in things that are either gambling, or they are gambling infrastructure, facilitating, selling the shovels instead of the gold mine itself. And so I was like, it'd be really cool to do that. And Matthias was like, yeah, that's actually a fire idea. Where should we build it? And, I was like kind of giving some input, but really they came back with like a very solid plan. Do you want to speak on the original branding for the OGs?
Oh yeah, I mean, so what you see now, if you go to Cyclics, and we can get into actually what's happening today at Cyclics, but this is the, if you go back and you see the V0, the branding, the name originally, it's nothing like what you see today. It's all these projects, if you actually know how to build, right? This is me as a Web 1, Web 2 builder coming into Web 3. I've built these companies before, multiple 8-figure companies. I've hired over 6,000 people for my companies. So I have a staffing agency. We know how to build teams, manage money, balance budgets, meet payroll. This is something that you have to do in Web 2. There's no hiding behind an avatar in Web 2. This is your name. So coming back to the initial project, this has evolved 100 times since January, right? So what Lucas mentioned, I went to see him in late January, so 10 months ago now, which is a very long time in crypto and also not a long time in the traditional world. And I said, hey, this is the vision. This is what I want to build. I'm a proven builder / investor, but actually investor, meaning investing hundreds of thousands, if not millions of dollars in businesses and things that have to work, right? Not things that you can just raise money and run away. So it's something where, the initial, just to give you an idea of how scammy this industry is on the building side too. So we had initially, we came up with a name, another name called Ouroboros. So that was supposed to be the first ticker, ORO. We announced the ticker name, less than 24
Cyclic's better,
hours.
I just want to say. I do like Cyclic's a lot better.
It is. Everything happens for a reason in this in any space. But so we announced the name. I go to bed. 24 hours later, ticker ORO is rugged. People posting screenshots in the small Telegram of maybe 50 people that we had back at the time, and it's like, wow. Even if you want to do something legit, doxed with a team, people literally take the ticker and launch it and rug people who had already been rugged, mind you. These people were already victims of that first project, and then maybe it's the same dev, maybe it's someone else, came back and rugged the victims again. So it's like, oh my God, this is like, okay, all right, let me treat this industry differently. And so that evolved into the brand, which is now Cyclic. So just to give everyone an idea that what you see on the outside of like, oh, all these scams, it's just as dirty on the on the other
so
side.
much worse. It's worse because it's also like you don't just lose your money, you lose the time you invested, your trust,
The
your connections, your networks.
yeah.
It's a lot. Like to really bring a project like this to life. I've never been a part of something so exciting. And again, I've been like to the top of the industry and I've seen what it takes to, really bring something to life. And a lot of these people just have terrible intentions. So it really was a breath of fresh air to see them come up with such innovative ways of doing things, but also like being able to deliver on that is huge. Matthias was like, you got to trust me on this. I'm like, okay, like, at this point, keep in mind, I've been like screwed by every single person I've ever worked with in this space. I mean, every single one of them, save maybe a handful. And certainly no founders that I really was super proud to like, except for the CEO of DAOmaker, really, who I learned a lot from, who I really have respect for. And so the vision has evolved so much, but even on the day one, promises, like when this was a much smaller, it wasn't like a multinational, like huge project, low key funded by less than $500,000, which is unbelievable. And anyone else besides Matthias and Caius would have been unable to build this. But, it was always from day one, transparent and honest and trustworthy. And it's become such like a real movement. Cause Matthias said this when I was out there in Dubai, because at some point I had come over to Dubai for a couple of months and spent a lot of time with him. And, he was like, essentially just saying it's going to be a really hard time for a lot of these projects out here trying to build or KOLs that aren't doing it the authentic way. And now we've seen in the last like 2-3 months, this cycle of like rotating back to like the meta shift to authenticity, which is so powerful, so powerful. People don't understand, like you don't need $1 billion and VCs and, to extract liquidity from the community. It's much more powerful when it's built from the ground up.
Yeah. What's interesting is, because I've done this in the past, right? It's nothing new, but, the idea of, so this is where my Web 2 experience, this is where people who build solely in Web 3 don't understand. And that this is one of the big advantages that we have at CoinRock. So for everyone listening, CoinRock is basically the incubator / developer of all the projects that we have. Cyclics is one of those so is one of CoinRock's projects. So and I'm the founder of CoinRock. So one of the things that Web3 builders don't understand, or founders, first of all, many of these guys are not founders. They just, they literally copy paste a smart contract and then call themselves founders. If you're in the industry, don't overestimate people who just come up with an idea, because many times they haven't done anything before, right? So, but me coming from Web 2, not to brag, but this is, I told Lucas from day one, I'm not Web 3 native. And that's a big benefit, because I have actually built in Web 2 where you actually have to face your customers. Facing your customers, meaning if you sell something and someone comes back to quote the physical or digital store, they need to talk to customer support. They have to, they need help. They lost their passwords. They want to upgrade. They want to refund, right? So those are things that in Web 2 or any kind of traditional business is common sense. Whereas in Web 3, people just run away. And so bringing that kind of interaction with the community, we've done at this point, maybe over 100 AMAs, even while building, like,
even internally. Not just
Correct.
publicly, like specifically with the community, the relationship is so strong. And again, it goes back to like Matthias is such a good executor and builder, and like low key, it plugs straight into my Web3 community. And like that's been the most powerful thing I've seen, because you never have a thing where in crypto, at least I've seen, where the VCs and the community and like the real like Web3 people understand and meet eye to eye. And I think that's really what makes this so powerful, is it's not just like another project. It's like, no, the community is actually intimately involved, more than you guys even understand. Like I couldn't articulate it to you how involved they are.
So I want to add this, and this is for those that are watching, and this is super important, and this will be a great clip of Javi do that. But like one of the things I want you guys to notice here is the fact that he's actually here with his face and his full name and where he lives. Like that's what we're trying to say to you in a short way, right? That these guys are literally here to show their face because they're standing behind what they're building, right? And so many times in this space, you talk about scams, but so many times in this space, there's projects where no one knows who's behind it. We did a video on that today. We were talking about that earlier or yesterday too, that no one wants to show who's behind it, right? Like who's behind the curtain of this project, right? So how do you feel safe if you're somebody that wants to invest $10 million or $1 million or even 10 grand, right? How do you feel safe on it's one thing seeing a project and being like, all right, the website looks cool, the idea looks cool, I'll throw $100 at it. But how do you get real money behind a project, right? And you got to learn to trust who's behind it and know who they are, because not many people are going to actually show their face like this, right? And have multiple conversations. This is the second time we've been on. We'll probably meet up in a couple weeks too do this on TikTok as well. And just to see the fact that you're here, like, hey, this is me, like, come find me. Not really. Don't go find him. Leave him alone. But you know what I mean? Like he's out there, right? And I admire that in a project. I really do. And those of you that are watching should really take that and understand how powerful that is for this project. So I just wanted to throw that in there.
Yeah, no, I mean, you're right. That's also one of the, when I doxed, right? I was anonymous for years, like many people in crypto. But I said, if I'm going to build in crypto, I'm going to do it the right way. And the right way for me in my book is you're going to build things that you're proud of. Number one, you're going to build things that you can recommend to friends and family. The casino that we build that's launching literally today is a beautiful casino. This is the V.
Wait, did you just say it was launching today? Is that what
it is launching on
today?
Monday? So it's Monday in Dubai. It's launching literally in the next 24 hours. So that's the alpha here for everyone.
We'll get into that. We'll get into that at the end. That's cool.
Yeah. But it was like I only want to build things that I can stand behind, that I can really push publicly, and that even if someone, this is the main one, right? Even if someone doesn't like either me or the project, they can never say, oh, this is shady, this is scammy. No, because we're building it with the community, so the close community who've been with us since day one. Back in January, I posted in Lucas's Telegram, I said, I'm building something. I have a lot of experience building, proven builder, multiple 8 figures. I ran several companies up to multiple 8 figures in Web 2. I'm doing something. I don't know exactly what it will be, full disclosure, but we'll see. This is the Telegram group, join. And there's about 50 people that ended up joining, and those guys bought into the pre-sale, and they've been with us on other projects. So it's like, you know, the condition was building something that you're proud of, that you can really, you know, not only advertise to the public, but also to friends and family, which is something that the space usually doesn't do, right? It's like they have this Web3 thing with, you know, a profile picture, and they hide behind that. And then they do this other thing. No, I said, let's just build it with people around here. And I always say, nothing's perfect. There's no guarantees, but we will always try to do the right thing, right? And there's no such thing as building flawlessly. It's always messy. If you go back and you read, you know, the Steve Jobs emails or the Elon Musk emails, and you kind of see, or you've built something in the past, even if it's like a small bakery in your hometown, it's always messy. There's always problems. There's always challenges. That's how building is. But one thing I said from day one is, we'll do it with the community. You know, the logo, you know, is, I think we did maybe 5 or 10 variations, and we said, hey, which one do you like? You know, what name do you like? How would you like? What games do you want? So we've really tried to create something that, not try to create, we have actually really created something that has direct involvement from the community too.
So that's super powerful, having something that's community driven. Not a lot of projects are doing that. They don't listen, you know, and you see this not just in Web3 and the creation of cryptocurrencies and projects. You see this everywhere in big business. You see it in these companies on the S&P 500, right? They're there for their shareholders, and that's the most important thing. And they're not connecting with the buyer anymore, right? And I think long term, especially if things get, you know, the corruption becomes a lot, you know, cleaned up, is I guess the way to put it. You're going to see these companies that didn't take care of their customers, that didn't ask them what they want and how to, you know, how to make a project based on what people are saying versus what the shareholder is saying is very important. So I'm glad you're saying that.
Yeah.
And like, that's why we're having you on, because this is stuff that people need to understand. If you're like, this is a project that is not just a short-term project that I'm going to be part of, but I see this being a long-term project through many bull runs.
Yep.
Right. And what's going to happen from there? Is it just going to be a gaming thing, or is there going to be other things that branch off of it? I'm sure ideas will come. And Lucas, I see you want to say something.
I want to add something real quick there. 2 points. First of all, people say that they're building in public or building with the community. They're not. They're not actually doing that. People say, oh, the community is great. No, you're being paid. There's some Nigerian guy being paid 50 cents an hour to say that on Twitter. Like, no, like you need to actually come to the Telegram. And like, I think the biggest proof of like how powerful the Cyclics community is, and, you know, really like they believe in the vision, is the revesting that we just did. So over 1/3 of the supply was voluntarily revested by not only me and the rest of the team, but also through like the community members themselves who have bought. For example, a guy named Ragnar, shout out to Ragnar, came in and clipped 100,000 plus into the chart, and then voluntarily locked that up for 12 months. Do you understand how insane that is? That is almost never heard of. The conviction here is top of the line. I've never seen a project with more conviction. And I'm not just saying that because like I've been a part of it. It's like objectively, there is nothing like it. There is no second best. It really is a movement beyond just, oh, it's a project. It's like the community really is first. And secondly, to your point, yes, it's going to be very exciting this cycle. I'm sure a lot of people are going to get very excited about what we're building. But like what you mentioned about multi-cycle things, people need to realize like we're in the golden age of crypto fraud. Everybody and their mom just got a green light from Trump coming into office because this is only going to make it worse. Yes, we'll pump harder, but the crypto scammers are going to feel very emboldened. And this has already been an insane cycle of fraud. There's hundreds and thousands of different people across the world who like their only job right now is to extract as much liquidity from the market as possible. The people at the very top. I mean, even like the spoofing that's going on Binance with these billions of dollars worth of orders to force liquidations, all the meme coin scams, all these people who are just sitting here like take this greedy stuff. That's not going to happen next cycle. Next cycle, whoever's left, whoever's been successful and continues to put their best foot forward, that's when you're going to see the true cream of the crop rise, because all this fraud will be gone. And the feds are already moving. Like they are going to send these people to jail. Market makers were first, but these like evil KOLs, these big exchanges, these people are going to be cleaned out. And so, yeah, next cycle is going to be even easier for us because we'll have a successful product, a track record, a community. Oh my goodness. Don't even get me started.
Yeah, I mean, go ahead, Ty.
Well, so I wanted to ask you a couple of questions, and I want to get into like the nitty gritty on Cyclics, right? Like when I say that, I mean like what's the big mission here, right? Where do you see this going? I know there's going to be questions. People are going to care about pricing as well. I don't know how much you can say on that. Maybe Lucas can speak more to that. But for me, I'm thinking you guys are going live Monday, right? Which is in the next couple of hours. Can you
Yep.
talk more on that? I know you guys have gotten your gambling license and stuff like that, and kind of talk about that, and not only just the struggle of how hard that is to get, because that's no joke. A lot of these
No joke.
gaming sites that you guys are using, if you are in crypto gambling, which is, it's going to be a big thing, but just crypto gaming in general, to get that license is no joke. You've been working on that for almost a year, right? Just to get the license. So can you go
Yep.
into a little bit about where we're going,
Yep.
what like roadmap stuff, and then not just gambling, is there any other type of gaming that you guys are going to be focusing on? Are you looking to just be a straight gambling platform, or hey, we want to also find the next big, what's a big game out there that's done well? Well, not GTA, like not that, like a computer game, like name one, Lucas. I know you've played a few.
I mean, I think there's definitely some opportunities, but for right now, it's very Gamblefy focused. So there'll be some interesting viral games we're working on. But when it comes to like Web3, like video games itself, that's probably something we'll do down the line, if at all, and potentially something else through CoinRock. But Cyclics is very Gamblefy focused. Like it's laser focused on the mission, like not over promising and delivering on exactly what we set out to do, which is really to become the biggest Web3 casino. And it's not that hard. Rollbit is actually like, I'm not going to speak on bad on their name, but Rollbit is actually not doing, in my opinion, the things that I think they should be doing to maintain their position at the top. And there's a lot of opportunity. I think we hit number 5 briefly, top 5 Gamblefy coins. There's not even a product, by market cap. How's that even possible? Well, the bar is just so low. And so really
crazy.
it's not even about looking at the Web3 casinos, because frankly, the competition just isn't there. It's about looking at the Web2 casinos. So look at a Stake, right? Look at Bovado.
I was going to ask you, Lucas. So Stake was one of I was going to compare. Is there any comparisons to Stake? Stake is very popular. There's, I've heard of Stake for years, for a while now. I guess give me some comparisons on who you're trying to be better than, right? And yeah, kind of go into where we're going.
It's a good way to like kind of compare it, because Stake is very creator focused, right? And we're very creator focused as far as like we want to acquire a lot of cool deals with people in the space and build things that are focused around the creator economy, because I'm very bullish on people, even like micro KOLs and influencers. So in that aspect, I think there's a fair comparison, but also it's different because Stake is very, let's say like for profit, in the sense that they're not giving back to their community, right? They're not listening to feedback. They're not building the same thing we're building. It's hard to compare because, look at the people who've staked their CYG, we're going to be doing some really cool stuff with the revenue. Like that's never been done. So it's difficult because the comparisons we could make are to projects that are frankly just doing things the wrong way. And the comparisons that we want to make, they're not even doing things a fraction of cool as we are. But I would say Stake is the easiest thing to compare it to.
And one of the things that I've noticed, I looked this up earlier, and you guys can speak on this, but the estimates from the experts out there say that just GameFi, is going to be a $614 billion industry by 2030. And I don't even know if they're adjusting for inflation with that number, right? So I mean, I want to speak on that as well, but Mateus, go ahead. I see that you're ready to go.
No. I mean, the that number, so some estimates are between 500 billion all the way up to over $1 trillion. It really depends on what you include in the GameFi/Gamblefy or online gambling gaming world, right? So in the market study. So coming back to the competition in a way, right? So and touching upon the license issue, so acquiring a gaming license, you have to go through a full process, right? You don't just go to the supermarket and buy a license. It is a multi-month process to acquire these gaming licenses. Background checks on everything, everyone who is involved in it, of course, myself, So, and then there is a decision, right? They can go through this multi-month process and not give you the gaming license. There were no guarantees. But we said this from day one too. We said that initially it might take longer than many other projects. If you're looking, we said this on day one, March, April, May. We said if you're looking for a 50x tomorrow, Cyclix is not it. Please understand this, right? I'm not here to sell you the dream, right? But one thing I can guarantee is that we will build the right way. We will build it the right way. That means getting the gaming license. And Ty, you know this because we've been talking for months. Number one is getting the gaming license. Number two is actually building the casino, because there's a lot of off-the-shelf casinos. You can Google white label casino. You will find hundreds of different templates that you can copy paste. That is not a real casino, right? We've tried it. That's not what you get. So if you want to build a real casino that is scalable, that people can come in and play, refer others, where you can add more games, different types of games, it takes a full-on team. We have 7 full-time developers on the casino team, full-time on payroll. So then the question is, how do you find these guys? Well, I'm lucky because I have my Web2 staffing agency. That's the only way this was possible, is literally me asking, it's my company, so I can direct resources and assets, but saying, hey, we're staffing up in Web3. I need to find XYZ roles. And we went through this year over 200 interviews for developers of all kinds, right? Front end, Figma developers, back end developers, infrastructure developers. We're also building other projects inside CoinRock. So over 200 interviews, right? Like this, where we check everything we can. It's painstaking to interview these people, knowing that you will hire at most 1 out of 10 people, because the level in Web3.
How many have you hired? How many devs do you have? What is that? What's that look like?
Yeah, good question. So on the casino side, 7 full-time developers, right? We
7.
have, yeah,
Wow.
yeah.
Most projects, you guys understand, this is the alpha right here. Most projects have 1 developer, and that developer may not have even created a real project yet, right? Yeah. So that's impressive. Thank you.
So the other thing with Cyclix is it's not just a speculative asset. Of course, crypto's risky and volatile and all that, but the casino is a business. That's what people have to understand here. It actually is a business, which means that you have to, if you want to put this out and share this with the world, it needs to be stable, right? There's going to be ups and downs. Even Google and Facebook are down every now and then. That's going to happen, but you need to build it the right way. So yeah, 7 full-time devs on the casino side, give or take, plus 1 or 2, depending on what we need. Like if we need designers will come in, we have contractors for that. And that's just one project. Lucas knows other projects that we're building. That's another 4 full-time developers. So all in all, it's about 12 full-time developers across all teams, just for Web3. If you're buying a meme coin, it's okay to have only 1 dev. If you're building something long-term, it's not. You need to have people who can build something that's robust.
Which, by the way, I want to touch on this a little bit. Matthias is not lying when he says the staffing company is extremely important. Hiring developers in the Web3 space is by far like the most difficult thing one can try to do, because first of all, half the people are just scammers. Sometimes they're literally state actors from like North Korea coming in there to try and basically gain access to the back end so they can steal money. Some of them are just grifting. Some of them are outright scamming just because they want to get a paycheck. It's very difficult. It's extremely difficult. So people have no idea.
Yep. It's very bad. Anyone who comes in, so now we've seen these guys, right? Anyone who comes into a Telegram group or a Discord saying, hey, I'm a dev, let me know if you need a bot or if you need, Web3 design. 99.9% of those guys are scammers, right? They will never show their face on an interview, which is a requirement for us. They will never, send in their national ID and passport, which is a requirement for us. We'll run pretty much background checks on every single person, which means we'll go out and actually talk to former employers. I mean, we have a whole process we walk them through. That's why so many, go through the process and actually end up being hired. This is on top of the skills, right? So you can be a good coder. If you don't go through that process, you're not working for us. We've had several of those reach out like, hey, I can work for free for a bit, build a game here and there. No, if you're not willing to send us your passport, you're not working for us. It's very simple. We need to know who's touching the code because we need to come after you if you fuck things up on our end. That's how this is back to the killer instinct that you mentioned at the beginning. If you're going to be creating this platform and you do something wrong, I am coming after you. My guys are coming after you. There's legal ways of getting to you. We will get to you if we have your passport, for sure. So that's how it is in this game. You have to do it this way. Because first of all, it minimizes the 99% of scammers coming in, and people who actually go through the process are serious. They really want to build something, and there are people out there too for that who want to build. But it's very, very difficult to find developers. Lucas knows this. He's also tried hiring in Web3. Very high risk, and these guys on the
Awful.
back end have access
Even-
to sensitive data.
Even talent agencies have screwed me. It's like you can even go and get recruiters to find you people, and they will still. I've still like been scammed by people from recruiters, and so it really is. It's difficult to get talent, and it's even more difficult to get them to build the thing you want them to build because half the time it's outsourced to another guy that's outsourced it to another guy. It's a never-ending hell of outsourcing.
Yeah, and I've run multiple agencies, right, in the marketing space. So I know how these agencies work. I've run several, built several from scratch, and sold several. The way it works is, the guy that you're talking to is never the guy doing the work, right? That's just the agency model. They'll put a senior guy in the interview process. They'll send you if you're lucky, by the way, in Web3, we've worked with someone with Lucas here. We've worked with someone that.
Oh, don't get me started. Oh my God. These guys are so well known. I'm not going to name drop them unless I have to, and they try and steal the code. But like these guys are big name in the industry. Absolutely abysmal to work with, and would never work with them again.
Yeah, just
I
to
know
give you
for
an
a
idea.
fact.
Yeah, go ahead.
I was going to say, I know for a fact Justin's about to hop in here if he hears me talk about this. He's already complaining.
It's so bad that, just to give you an idea, so in the traditional world, when someone pays you, they usually ask for an invoice or at least something that gives you an idea of the deliverables. This is common sense. You get someone to remodel your house, your bathroom. They get, you pay them a milestone. They give you a deliverable. They do something. In Web3, you prepay them. So big mistake, but you prepay them. And then if you're lucky, they send you an invoice. By the way, these guys did not send an invoice. Nothing. They're like, oh yeah, we literally, like, we have screenshots of this. We don't send deliverables, and we don't send a recap of deliverables for such a small amount that's prepaid. Verbatim. So that's how bad it is in Web3. So I said, when I started seeing how bad it is after we raised, so for everyone here, we raised just under $500,000 back in April for the pre-sale. With that, we put 200,000 liquidity locked on day one, which, by the way, a lot of projects don't lock liquidity, and then they pull liquidity out, and you're screwed with a token that's worthless. So we locked on day one. Then, of course, we had to go and build this casino, and building a casino with $200,000 is no easy feat. Plus, also, of course, acquiring the gaming license. So when I saw, being used to how Web 2 is done, when you hire on Web 2, usually it's a skill set issue, right? Meaning, can this developer actually build something? Do they know this type of language? Do they know this type of design, tool? But in Web 3, there is that, of course, that you need to vet, but you also need to vet if this person actually is serious, or if they're a scammer, or if they're going to install backdoors, right? So it's much tougher. And so when I saw that, I said, no, I need to really master this. And I said, I'm going to be bringing in my trusted people that I have in my Web 2 companies to staff up. Otherwise, it would have been impossible. That's the truth. It's very difficult to build in Web 3, really build, right? This is very different if you launch a meme coin on Pump.fun. I mean, you don't need a developer. Once it's launched, it's launched. But this is, if you're building a real structured business, it's tough. Lucas?
No, I needed to get this chapstick. I'm getting over being sick, and it's very cold outside. My lips are just cracked. But also, I need this. I need this because of how many times I've been shafted this market.
Stop it. No, but here's another thing. So for those of you that are watching right now, any questions that you guys have, just put it in the comments, by the way. Want to make sure that we answer anything that you guys have, any questions that you guys have. But no, this is awesome. I mean, I'm excited to see where this thing goes. Is there anything you want to speak on? Yeah, listen, everybody loves what people love about this space, though. Let's be real. It's where can this project go in terms of market cap? And I know that Mateus, you can't. I don't expect you to talk on that. I think there's legalities there, but Lucas, I know that you can talk on this, and I want to talk about that. And I don't want to. I want to first say this. Yeah, I'm calling you out on it. But listen, hey, put it down there where he says it right there. Do that. What I was telling you earlier. But no, really, is this a project that we can see really moving? And obviously, I want to point out, and I'm going to say this in the video. We'll also put it down in the bottom. Not financial advice. We're not promising any gains. We're not promising any of this, right? The only promise that we can offer is that we're going to work really hard to make this thing a really good project, right? So just keep that in mind. But Lucas, I'm going to have you speak on it because I know everybody. That's the big question. Everybody wants to know,
right? Everyone wants to know is this. Oh, am I going to get the next 1000x? Well, listen. Here's what I'll say. You know, like when it comes to price, like obviously, like everyone wants to see it do well. And I'm going to say this. Obviously, like it's not like we can control the price, but if you look at like what Rollbit was able to do, that's what I think the most easy comparison I can say. You know, Rollbit went to, I think it was between like 500 to 800 million in a bear market with a subpar product where no one knows who the founders are. And there's a lot of controversy about paying out winners, and there's like a lot of FUD around that. Not that that's substantiated or not, but they went to like, I think between 500 and 800 mil for the top.
Right,
the market responds to authenticity. The market responds to marketing. Obviously, that's what everyone thinks is what matters the most. But it also responds to like the product and the community. And I think we have all the elements to make a really successful project. So I'm not going to sit here and say, oh, I know we're gonna do this or that. But I'm going to say I would not have gotten involved with this. I know for a fact Mateus would have not gotten involved in this for just a couple $1 million on our end. Like, when we look at like where we can take this, how far it can go, there's nothing I'm more interested in building right now than this and a few other things. But we'll talk about those at a later time.
So I like that. I like the comparisons to something like Rollbit. And let's just put it this way: that look, there's no promise again on where things can go. But if those of you that are just in it for price, this project I think is going to do very well. Let's just put it like very well. But not only that, it's a project that. My mindset is not just this bull run. Oh, can I make a quick buck? Is, hey, can I be part of something that grows for the next 50 years? Like, is GameFi and crypto gambling, is that going to be something where there's a couple of big players that just kind of take over that market? And if they do, and you're talking about this industry being a $600 billion industry, upwards of over $1 trillion in the next 5 to 7 years, well, then you guys do the math, right? Someone said, to the moon, baby. And that's the price prediction I'll give, to the moon. I guess that's all I'll say there. But
50 years is a little crazy, but I think let's focus on the next 5. I think that's a really great timeline. I think the next 5 years we'll see a lot of exciting stuff in crypto gaming and GambleFi. And honestly, there's no one really who's this in touch with like the actual like market, like the actual like product market fit, or the communication or the team or the community. There is no second best when it comes to the fundamentals. And obviously the fundamentals and price oftentimes have like there's a dichotomy between the two. It's not always the same, but I do think that we have the what it takes to really like turn heads this cycle. Next cycle will be great, but this is where we make our names known. And I think that, it's been interesting considering there's been zero marketing so far. But that will change very quickly. So
talk more about what goes live. You got the gambling license. Congratulations on that. We know that. Next is you're going live in a couple of hours.
Exactly. Yeah. So we've been running a beta for about 6 weeks now. Started out with a closed beta only for what we call the OGs. So those who followed blindly in January, when I said, hey, we're going to build something. To be fair, I did not know that we would go in and build a full-blown casino. Would I do it again with the amount of work involved and everything? Honestly, I don't know. It's been there's a lot of easier things you can do in crypto and still do okay. But this is like I said this last week. I said building the casino from scratch, with no connections in the industry on the dev side. And getting it to where we are now is like starting a new video game that you've never played before in max difficulty with a bad weapon and no protection, no shield. that's how bad it is building in crypto. And so we've done that. So the casino is launching literally on Monday, depending on where you are in the world. Here it's either Sunday or Monday. So in the next 24 hours, it's been in closed beta for about 3 weeks, and then another open beta for another 3 weeks. So 6 weeks of, beta. So testing, on different devices, fixing small bugs, because there's always bugs, even when you've worked on it for months. The beta is really where you see, the baby walk, and now it's ready for the world. So that's stage one. So stage one is where everything's happening now in the next 24 hours. After that, in the coming days, we actually have several new things coming up this week too. One is a fourth game. So we have 3 original games, just so everyone understands how casinos operate. Every casino usually comes up with at least one, usually a few original games. That means that the team makes the original games in-house usually. Then on top of that, if you go to sites like Stake, who's pretty much the 800-pound gorilla in the industry, they integrate multiple third-party game developers. That's how the industry works. So you'll go and you'll see logos of game studios, and these are gambling studios. They build games, live gaming, roulette, poker, all these different types of games. And so what Stake is, essentially what Cyclix is a platform that, yes, we build our own games, but we also integrate dozens, if not hundreds, of other games. So we are literally finalizing the deals with those third-party game providers. They're not all the same. The quality is very different from one another. The security is very different. The speed of delivery on their side is very different. But the timeline is about 2 to 3 weeks from today. We will have dozens, if not over 100 other games from these third-party game providers.
So let me ask you a question about the whole gambling side of it. Something I think a lot of people would want to know. I want to understand. So I used to play this game called Tron Bet, right? And I mean, we were transferring hundreds of thousands of dollars to each other, so one of my buddies made over $2 million gambling from maybe 10 grand he started with, right?
Yep.
Was absolutely killing it. And so this is a question right here that just came in. This is a question I was just going to ask, but so how do you know that the games are truly like decentralized? Like, how do you know that you're not getting into a game? And yes, I understand the house, they say, just like Vegas, the house always wins, right? But how do you know that you're not in a game that's just completely worthless playing? Like, can you explain more on that side of it? Like, why would I go in, right? And instead of playing roulette at the casino, why would I go play roulette on Cyclix?
Yeah.
So you get my point?
Yeah, of course. Yeah. So there's a few things. One, the games that we've built are all provably fair. It's an industry term that means that you can actually check and see so basically you can check the code. That's what it means. You can check the code to see that it's not rigged against the player. Of course, there's a small percentage that the house has. That's the industry. Every casino has that. But on top of that, a lot of as you mentioned, a lot of these kind of obscure gray / black hat casinos are rigged against the player, right? You cannot make money. So what we have is the games are provably fair. You can look at the code. It's a requirement too from the gaming commission for certain games to actually have the code available for people. So that's one thing. So if you see,
can I stop you real quick and ask you a question, kind of in that realm? So you have gotten your gambling license, right? And was that a gambling license in Dubai, or is that a gambling license in multiple places? Number one. And number two,
good question.
It's in Dubai. Okay. So that answers that. Now, number two is with the gambling, I want to make sure I understood what you just said correctly. So there's certain scrutinies, I guess, they put you through to make sure that you're not bending people over, to lack of a better phrase.
Yeah,
right?
exactly. So So the gambling license is an Anjouan, not Dubai. Dubai doesn't do gambling licenses. It's an Anjouan gaming license, and so the way it works is the gaming license, the gaming authority gives you several territories to be able to operate in, and also sometimes restricted territories. Every gaming, every casino has the same requirements, right? So with the license that we currently have, it's a step one. It's the first license that we have. we have countries that we need to legally geo block, which means if you're in some of the countries, like if you're in the US, if you use a US connection, if you use a UK connection, an Australia IP, we must by law geo block the the connection. So that's one thing on the license side. So
Is
it's
that so? When you say geo-block, that's something my Telegram earlier today was saying to me that they couldn't go look at your website, right? And because
Yep.
a lot of them are in the U.S., right?
Yep.
So you got to use a VPN in order to do that. So I just want to throw this out there to those of you that are going to go do some research on Cyclix later. If you are in the U.S., maybe some places in Europe, I'm assuming. I don't know exactly where. If you know a couple of places, just name them if you can. But you're going to need to use a VPN in order to go view Cyclix, and if you want to gamble and all that kind of stuff. Go ahead, Lucas.
And again, I'd like to make clear, like, we're not endorsing that. And in fact, if we find out anyone is doing that, we're going to have to take actions against that. So if we catch people using these VPNs to circumnavigate the licensing, we'll shut that down quick. That's not something we want to endorse, nor do I want, really to be a focus, right? The licensing is there so we can stay legal. We want to get into the United States. We want to get into all these countries. But again, for our promoters, we'll have a separate link to a subdomain that's legally compliant. But to the actual people in the United States, we're not going to ever co-sign that. I've heard people get around, casinos with this stuff all the time. We're not a fan of that, and we will stop it if we find out that your account is not based in a legally compliant country. Now, that being said, it's not like we're going to be stopping at this license. Like Matthias said, it's a step one. The U.S. license we want to get next year, fingers crossed. I think we can do it. But it's the hardest one to get. It's like, you're not going to start a video game and immediately get to the level 100. Right now, we were on level 1 with the beta. Now we're going to level 2 as we add more games, 3, 4, and 5. So the first couple of games were built in-house. And as well, can I talk about what's coming on Friday?
Yes. So coming back to the team and then on Friday. So basically, the license, the way the casino industry works is, there's different licenses for different jurisdictions. So if you want to operate in the UK, which is a huge market, or the US, for example, too, or some of the EU countries in Europe, you need different licenses. That's one thing that's on the roadmap for us to acquire these different licenses. It's a longer process. Every license takes between 6 to 12 months to acquire. So it's something that we want to do, but right now we in the immediate future, it's really launching this baby. On the team side, so it's an Android license, which has become now a staple in the industry. Most of the regulated casinos that you see right now are hold Android licenses. And so the team is decentralized. Everyone, so the offices are outside of that country too. That's how the industry works. And my role here is really just guiding on the strategy side. Coming back to strategy on the games, we have so the third-party game providers in the next 2-3 weeks. That's really going to beef up the amount of games. So of course, the more visibility Cyclix gets, the more price can change. #can that's really the key word. Of course, 3 weeks down the line, 4 weeks down the line, when we have 50, 60, 80, 100 games, and we want to take this to thousands of players and tens of thousands of players, that's the vision we have, we'll be in a very different position, right? And so all these moves are happening, not only today, but over the last few months. This coming Friday, so 5 days from now, Cyclix will be releasing one of the most innovative games that the industry has seen in Web3, and that will be a Web3 Powerball lottery, which is something that hasn't been done at all and ever the way that we have built it. The team has done something amazing. So they came up with they use a concept that exists in many countries, right? The Powerball lottery. But with a twist, coming from affiliate marketing, which basically means that, so that's how I started out over 20 years ago, is reselling other people's products and making a commission. That's what affiliate marketing is. So everything that we've built and that we are building in CoinRock has an affiliate program to it, which means that you refer people and you benefit from that. the lottery that's releasing in 5 days from now has a huge affiliate component to it, which means that the odds are multiplied if and when you refer other people. So you can refer people for free. You can win free extra tickets when you refer other people. So it's a huge Powerball lottery. The site looks amazing. And that's something that's going to be basically released by Cyclix under the Cyclix umbrella. And that's a Cyclix original, which means that we've had to build this from scratch to really match the vision of let's build the coolest. And there you go. That's the front end. So that's the actual casino. And so the lottery will be under the Cyclix umbrella on a different URL, so just different extension. But, it will be releasing in the next, so Friday, 5 days from now. And that's going to be interesting because whether it's, marketing partners, KOLs, or the community, you'll be able to have your own link. You'll be able to refer players. And one thing that Lucas said that's very important here, there's two separate things here that everyone needs to understand. One is that as a player, we have to geo-block, to comply with regulation. We have to geo-block the IPs that are used, right? So, for example, if you're using an IP from the UK or accessing it from the US, that's geo-blocked. But if you are purely a marketing partner, an affiliate marketer, we've been training the community on affiliate marketing and how to do referral marketing. You will be able to promote Cyclix, the casino, and the lottery without needing to go through the casino. Because if you want to access the casino, you will be geo-blocked. What we're doing is we're building a separate portal, complete separate portal that will allow you to promote the casino. So you'll have your own links. You'll be able to promote that globally. And you'll be able to do that even if you're in the US or in the UK or Australia. You can't play the games inside the casino. That's why we built, we wanted to build, it's getting built now, a full separate portal, and we'll give you the tools to promote banners, clips, articles, threads, tweets, and you'll be able to create your own personalized link and share that with the world, even if you're in a geo-blocked country.
Which I'd like to touch on this for a little bit is actually like the affiliate marketing side of things, because, people often ask, why is there a token for these projects? And that's a good question to ask for any project. You should be very speculative of what's the token for, right? Is it just a marketing vector? That's fine. A lot of these projects that's what they are. Is the utility attached? Is it a meme coin? Is it just for people to speculate on? For everything that's been built here at Cyclix, it's all ground up and community focused. So not only does the token provide exciting governance benefits, you're entitled to some of the buybacks from the revenue, you're entitled to better odds in specific games, but also people in the community can get very active and honestly, some of them, since it's not regarding the coin, it's with the affiliate revenue, some of them will be able to make a full-time living promoting the casino, even if they're in a country where they're not actually allowed to use it through, the system that Matthias and the team have come up with. So this is really ground up, right? The token has its place, the affiliate marketing has its place, but it's really built by and for the community. And that's the most exciting thing, because you can see it in the way the money flows. You can really look at it and be okay, this was built for the community, because you can see some of these affiliates, when we get started, initially, will be around, up to 75% on every dollar. So it's 75 cents on the dollar for the affiliate revenue, which is unheard of. So we have an aggressive growth strategy, and it's very community focused, because at the end of the day, we could go pay 1 million KOLs, 1 million people on Twitter to talk about something. It doesn't matter if there isn't a core group of people ready to receive the eyes that are being turned on the product. So I think that's really our most powerful asset. Beyond the excellent product, beyond the dozens of games we're going to add in-house, the originals that we're building, which many of them we haven't talked about and you've never seen, beyond the lottery, beyond the fact that it's licensed and everything like that, but beyond all the product, beyond all of that, it's the fact that community is first, and they know it.
Yeah, we really wanted to make look, everyone wants to make money, right? So yes, the token is one thing, but the affiliate program, there's going to be people, because we built it using a 2-tier structure. It's a 2-tier referral system. Very simple. When you refer someone and they buy a product, or they play in the casino in this case, you get a commission. But there's going to be people who refer people that you have referred. And so that's what we call in the affiliate world passive income, because you haven't done that work, right? You've only referred A, so the A level people, and then under that they will refer other people. If and when they do, you get a kickback on that too. So it's a 2-tier referral system, and we built it really to to go viral, really to help community members promote it.
So if someone wants to be part of this referral program, where do they go? What's the easiest way to do that?
Yeah, good point. So the best thing is to join the Telegram. We'll have news in the coming probably week or so about the portal, especially if you're in a geo-blocked country. We'll have all the information in the portal. It's basically a members area that you'll be able to access for free, and then inside that you'll find referral training videos and everything, because I'm personally training the community. We also have guests training the community on affiliate marketing. And then you also have your links. So you'll be able to generate that link, that unique link that you can share, and everyone who signs up is tied back to you. And so that link done a great job.
So that link, I'd like to share it in the chat here or at the bottom here. Where can I find it?
I think we have a few mods here. I saw Aragon here. If one of the mods, if you want to just send in the link to the official Telegram, that's really where everything is centralized, all the communication is. And so I think that's the best place now to go to, because that's where we communicate directly to the community. And everything is getting built as we speak. So this is really what's interesting now is it's just the beginning, right? So people who've been with us for 6, 8, 9 months, they say, oh, it's this is the end. It's like, no, this is literally day one. It's like the product is finally out. So the beginning is now. And one thing I'll mention about the marketing is we've been very, very adamant. And if you go back and one thing that I do is I never delete any tweets, or I never delete any posts in Telegram. You can go back and you look at the summer, you'll see that we consciously chose to not market anything, because there was no product to market, right? So we wanted to build that first, acquire the gaming license. And now that the product is out, the marketing is starting too. And I think people who've been with us for months have been asking, when is marketing? When marketing is starting now. And so it's we wanted to really have it planned out so it matches with the product release. And
that's really exciting though. So I want to point something out to you guys, and I'm going to base this on Uniswap here, where I hold my Cyclics. You guys are sitting at a $22 million market cap without any marketing. Think about that for a minute. Like, for those of you out there, I mean, like, that's pretty impressive with zero marketing. I mean, I've talked about you a handful of times, but outside of that, wow.
Nothing like the big campaigns that you see for other coins, right? I mean,
not that we don't have that planned.
Of course. Not
that that's not in the works.
Can we elaborate on marketing? I don't know how much you can say. But is there any elaborating that we can do on that to give people some hopes on what's coming?
Oh yeah, Lucas, you want to go ahead?
All right. So as you guys know, I've been involved in the marketing of a bunch of different projects, and I know a lot of people in the industry. I've asked the people in the chat that who's been supporting us from day one to keep it light until we get to a certain point, and even the people that we pay, I think will be we're not going to activate the biggest nukes on day one. But you'll start seeing some stuff this week. You'll start seeing a lot of the people who've been in since day one dropping videos, dropping mentions. We want to tell the story of what we built here. None of the marketing is focused on the token. Like, we'll talk about the token for sure, but like, I want to make it clear that I've actively had to remove people from the group chat who I think would be a negative value add, even if they do have followers, because of the way that they talk about these things. Like, we have to be very, very specific about the way we're talking about this, which is that, like, we're building something. It's a movement. I'm not interested in attracting holders that are going to flip for a 2x and then leave. We're trying to, really get in touch with people through the content that we create, through the community, who see and resonate with the message. And so I think you'll see that in the marketing messaging, but also like in the way that the community responds to the marketing as well. I think it's going to be very exciting. We have a lot planned for this next week. And then as we go forward, it's only going to get more exciting.
Any Any Cyclics Games giveaways planned? Anything like that that people can look forward to on X?
I mean that's definitely part of the strategy. I think literally from Monday on, there's going to be a lot more about CYG. So the ticker is CYG, by the way, CYG Cyclics Games. Make sure that if you have any doubt about because there's a lot of scams out there, come to the community, come to the group, and you'll find all the information inside the official group. I'm looking at the group now. There's exactly 1,661 members. Make sure you join the right one because there's every now and then there's a few scam ones too. So ticker CYG. We're gonna do a lot of stuff. Of course, giveaways like one of the main ways to make some noise on social. So that's also something that we'll be doing in the coming days and weeks. But overall, it's really about one thing that Lucas said about like getting the right people on board and and also getting them to understand the vision here, right? Very different than many of the projects who literally are up, they can go do a 50x today and then go to zero and then your money's locked, right? So this is about getting and this is all Lucas, right? So we've been talking for months about who would be a good KOL, yes, but partner also for the long term, right? So people who have good audiences, people who can bring value, because we've put in a lot of work in building this and building the brand too, which is something that very few crypto projects do. Very few people. There's almost no talk in crypto about brand, which is wild to me, coming from Web 1 and Web 2, where brand is, of course, customer acquisition is important, but without brand, there is no longevity, right? So the Cyclics brand is something that's very important to us in the way that we're building it and pushing it forward too. So I think that what's interesting, we are attracting the right people, right? And I post this every now and then on Twitter. If you build in public and you build the right way, the right people will gravitate to you. Of course, you always attract bad people too, but the right people who understand the mission and the vision come to you too, and that's what we've been seeing too.
I've always said that the market responds to authenticity in building and in communication. And it's funny because you look at what happens when a product or a project in this case is run terribly. Look at what happened with Z Casino. I lost $42,000 in the pre-sale for Z Casino. They stole my money. They stole that from me. People I knew stole that money from me. The Cyclics team. So me and Matthias and Caius and we had come together and we were like, okay, like we see how many people were affected by this. They stole $30 million from crypto Twitter, and they gave a lot of that back, but not all of it. And so I think, was it 2% of the supply was airdropped to the affected
2%.
holders who lost money. So 2% of the Cyclics supply, that's valued at just about $500,000 right now. And that was an airdrop that we did back in April. This was something that we did long-term because we knew that these people want, we can tell the market wants this, but they're being misled by people with bad intentions. And so these are the kind of people who are going to lose, crash out and go to prison, or just build things that blow up. And it's really unfortunate that that's kind of the standard right now, but it won't be for very long, especially not next cycle when they're all sitting in jail. They can all, share a meal out of the same fucking bowl for all I care. They're really pieces of shit and they need to go. And we're going to make them either improve or they're going to die by the wayside because their projects won't get any motion.
What I've said for from day one is really, we want to build things. We want the competition to be afraid of this, right? For two reasons. We will attract people good team members from the competition coming to us because they see the vision. And also, put in the work and you'll get rewarded. This comes back to my pro athlete training and everything. That's how it is, right? You have to sweat first if you want to win. I think that crypto in general, I see the opposite mindset, and I think everyone sees it here. Where it's like everyone wants quick money without doing anything. We took a very different approach. We said no, we'll do it the right way. If you want to compete with us, you need to do more AMAs. I personally do the AMAs. Lucas is on the AMAs. My partner Caius is also on the AMAs. Like, you need to do more AMAs than us. You need to go in and build a better product than us. You need to come up with better marketing for us, better branding, than us. So it's like there's a lot of things you need to do right to get to where we are now. And the truth is, in Web3, very few teams and very few people are willing to do the right thing and putting in the work. It is, for me, it's been 100-hour weeks for the last several months, like for pretty much from May onwards. It's been 100-hour weeks, 16 to 18 hours a day, because the only time I'm off is really when I'm off my phone, which is when I sleep. Aside from that, as you know, Ty, it's nonstop. It's 24/7. You'll wake up and there's something new. You'll wake up and there's something, a fire you need to put out. That's just how it is. But we're very excited about what we've done so far. And what's fun is we've only done things internally, and now we get to actually share it externally. So the public fun actually starts now.
Excited.
Here's
I
what
mean,
I'll say,
I've
dude.
been. Go ahead,
Nobody's
Lucas.
ready. Nobody's ready for the fucking takeover. We're gonna make these motherfuckers rue the day they scammed me. Rue the day. Yeah.
Look at that.
Monkey.
Look at that. I just want to point. That is beautiful. I'm just saying. That's beautiful.
Look, I mean, again, this is the market responding to authenticity and real builders, bro. Like, no one's been paid. Nobody. Like the projects that do the best are the ones that really like lock in and build good shit with the community, and that's all we want to do, right? Like, not even just from like a price perspective, but like just the way it's been done. And so, like, I'm not a financial advisor, of course, but like I over the summer I posted like, hey, I'm buying this thing, 20 cents, 25 cents. I'm buying this thing, guys. By the way, look at it now.
Yep. And again, this is with no marketing. There's been no. Because there was no product, we were very adamant about that. We'll start pushing with the products out, and now the product is out literally in the next day or so. So it's very exciting for us to see this.
We're gonna come back in 1 year and watch this clip and be like, "Holy fuck! Whoa! Holy fuck! Yeah, watch. I'm gonna post this clip on Twitter. Holy fuck! Oh my god, me from the future. What's going on? Is it fun? I hope it's fun."
I love it, man. Well, anybody, let me see if there's any questions here we can go over. They want to know where you can buy it. Well, first off, don't buy it based on what we said. Make sure you guys obviously do your own research on the project. I did bring up earlier that you needed a VPN to see the site. Please put that at the bottom. So obviously look at the bottom of the screen here. But if you do want to see the site, and if you're in America and you want to actually look at it, that's the only way to do it. But we're not promoting that you gamble. We're not promoting that you use VPNs. Just know that it's not a scam when you click on the site and it says you get a code that says you're blocked. You're blocked because you're in a country that doesn't allow you to look at this. So, talk to your local politician and figure out, they can release you guys from their tyranny.
And again, like, if you want to see it with a VPN, that's fine, right? If you want to take a look at what you're going to be potentially getting involved with or putting your money into, like if you're going to buy the coin, which that's your choice, that's fine. But again, like, don't think that we won't be trying to stop people who are using VPNs. Like, that's not something we want to endorse or promote, or, it's very important to stay compliant, because we're one of the few people who actually want to stay compliant. It's very funny.
Let's talk a little bit more about the European and US licensing. So what are the challenges there? What's the time frame there? Like, realistically, I know that for success in this industry, you can't just be in one area. There's a big portion of the population, a big portion of the money around the world, and gambling in general is in the US, right?
Yep.
What's the time frame on that that's realistic? What are the challenges you're running into, and how are you overcoming them? If you could talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, so the two big areas in the world, actually three now. So US, South America, Asia. Those are the three main hubs when it comes to gambling. So when it comes specifically to Europe and the US, so the EU has very antiquated laws when it comes to anything online. I mean, the reason why you might see when you go online and you might see the cookies, or all those pop-ups that pop up, especially when you're in the EU, that's thanks to EU regulation. They're coming up now to stifle the progress of AI. This is what the EU bureaucrats do. I'm Swiss, born in Switzerland. We are located inside and around European countries, but it is a running joke for us in Switzerland that the EU loves to stop progress. So when it comes to licenses in Europe, there's some countries that are allowed, of course, some countries that are geo-blocked, that must be geo-blocked. When it comes to actually acquiring these licenses, like I said, it's about 6 to 12 months from the initial start, and they all have different requirements. Some want a physical office space in the jurisdiction, so in the country. Others want, like a large amount, so basically capital locked in a local bank account, which acts as some sort of guarantee for the local government. And the licensing process itself, the license itself, can costs hundreds of thousands of dollars, cost up to over $1 million just for the license, without even locking up money. So you're looking at hundreds of thousands up to millions of dollars to acquire and basically unlock these big territories. And the process, so there's two ways of coming back to the roadmap, right, that you mentioned. There's two ways for us to expand. Number one is to actually acquire and go through the application that we've gone through to acquire the current license. Number two is what a lot of companies do, which is growth through acquisition, right? That means basically buying either a failing casino or partnering up with a casino and taking over the license that they already have. That's a proven strategy. I've sold, many of my companies, acquired several more. So growth through acquisition is also something that we're looking at. It's part of the plan. My partner has a lot of experience in large corporate mergers and acquisitions and due diligence. So that's something that's on the, definitely on the cards for us. Timeline wise, we're looking to start actually the process. So just so everyone is clear here, starting the process in Q1. What that means is, it is a 6 to 12 month process to get and this is for everyone. It's not just for cyclists. Like any casino needs to go through that. So we will be starting that, the next, so unlocking the next territories, starting that process in Q1. So 2-3 months from now, that's going to be the next step. And again, I think it's important for everyone to remember here that the goal for us is to be around for a long time. That's really, like, we haven't built this for the last almost 6 months now to last for a week. No. We want to be
longer than 6, and it was January
Yes.
when you flew to see me, so it's been like
Yes.
8-9 months.
Yeah, I'm just talking like pure code development. Yeah, no, like the vision started really back in January, and then it's really expanded. So, this is a multi-cycle play. That's the vision from day one. We want to become a top, Gamblify project, which, funny enough, we already hit number 5 with no marketing and no product, like Lucas mentioned. You can all see this on the.
We hit number 5 when the website was down for updates, so there wasn't even a website. It was so funny, bro. Like, actually hilarious how like low the bar is in crypto. Like,
Yeah.
dude, these people are not serious people.
So-
they're not serious people.
Yeah.
So well, I agree, and I again, this is why we're doing this, and I've talked so highly of this project. Couple of questions here that I think this is a great question from Frankie J. What metrics or goals do you have to measure success? Or what are the main goals of Cyclix? I like the first question. What do you look at as success? Like, what are there certain amount of users, market cap? What is it that you're like, that's what we're trying to get to?
Yeah, that's a great question. So I come from the world of media buying and paid traffic, right? Which is basically you put money in and you see how much money comes out, right? So and then you attribute that to either the ad sets, or you attribute that to the campaign or the influencer that you've paid. When you build these projects and you build these companies, there's things that you can control and cannot control, right? The market cap is something we cannot control. That's, we can try to have an influence on it with the marketing that we deploy, yes, but ultimately there's things that we can't control. But one thing we do control is everything that's deployed to acquire new users. And so coming back to how we judge success, it will be on the things that we control.
Which, by the way, most of these crypto companies don't actually have a business. They don't have a business. They're in the business of dumping to sustain their operations, to do essentially like to just sit around there and jerk off. That's it. That's all they do. This is a business. Let me see. Business with revenue. Oh wow, what a novel concept. A business with revenue. Yeah. So obviously, like, we want to hit revenue goals, users. Like, it's a long journey. Like, this is not like the next day you're gonna wake up and it's gonna be in 3 languages and have all the games. It's like one step at a time. I'm excited to have, our milestones of 5,000 to 10,000 users. I'm excited to, pull in $1 million of revenue. That's very exciting. It's very
exciting. That was my next question. Have you guys thought about an actual number where you're like, look, this is realistic and we're going to hit it as terms of a milestone for type of revenue you guys are going to bring in on a yearly basis?
Step one is, So step one is really like the 5,000 users, like this. That's the first step of the stairs up, right? That's 5K. That's it. Very achievable. I mean, there's a lot of, we've seen dozens and dozens of these casinos hit 10, 20, 30, 50,000 users, and no one knows their names. So, 5,000 is really like product validation, not just validation, because we validated the product, but really more on the and validating the acquisition channel. So is it going to be Twitter? Is it going to be TikTok? Is it going to be partnering with celebrities and KOLs?
The funnel to acquire users. Like, I think that I'm very excited because it gives me more to work with. Like, right now, we're doing a bit of marketing, a little bit everywhere. So TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, Twitter, Telegram, these little videos that we do here with the live streams with people like yourself. Like, we're going to kind of see what works. And then once we have numbers on all of that, we can then be like, oh, wow, well, this was a really successful avenue. And, oh, actually, suddenly it was this one that converted the most. And once we have an idea of where that can be focused, because right now it's shotgun shells, but eventually it'll be like a sniper rifle. And whatever the funnel is, we're going to double down, triple down.
Yeah, that's really a good point for everyone here. So I come from the world of funnels. I built my first, what now is known as a funnel, in 2006, right? You can go on the web archive. If you ask for this in the Telegram group, we'll send you the link to the web archive. My very first digital product, a funnel, way before the word funnels was thrown around so much. So I come from paid advertising, attribution, and this is right now, phase 1 is let's throw a lot of shit at the wall and see what sticks. And then, oh, that stuck. Let's do more of that. And that's really like attribution on the result side. And then we can double down on what's working.
Sounds good. Well, I like that. I mean, there's goals there, and it's really important to understand. I mean, Frankie just said it is true. Many of these companies, these cryptos, don't have a sustainable model. But anyways, there's a question here. So this crypto fishing says, I bought the pre-sale months ago. Since then, my tokens have dwindled. Why?
Simple. You bought. So initially, when we launched back in April, there was something called the Dragon Hunt. The Dragon Hunt was something that was known to everyone. If you looked at the docs, you would have known it was like on page 2.
Not even the docs, the website. The website, like, guys, this was like actually like the first thing on the website. It's gamification since day 1, Dragon Hunt, and people didn't even realize what that was. It was essentially to give the community something to do while we were waiting for the devs, and it was really in line with the narrative of the original project that Cyclix was based on. And it was essentially the community could steal each other's tokens if they were inactive for a certain period of time.
7 days.
This was a controversial decision, but I think it was very helpful because it really, like, first of all, like, gave them something to do, but also it really like whittled the community down to see who was actually involved, who actually understood. And it was unfortunate because some people, did get hunted, and even my little brother got hunted. But I mean, look, that's what it is. Like, I don't want to say like that it's not unfortunate, but it is the price you pay for not doing even the 1 second of looking at the website. It's like nothing was hidden. Nothing was hidden.
So let me ask you guys this. In terms of people that don't like that, but they like your project, is that still going on? If not, is it going to come back? Okay.
No, no,
No.
no.
Just
I
I'm
can
trying to
tell
be
you,
clear
no,
because you got to remember in crypto,
no.
there's a lot of normies, right? We
Yes,
call
yes,
call
of
them
course.
that don't,
Yes.
they buy based on what, right?
Yeah,
They buy
yeah,
based on what someone says. They don't do research. So those
yeah.
of you that are wondering, like, oh shit, well then, do I want to buy this project?
No,
Because
it's no
No, no,
longer
that
active.
we cut that off week 1 in June. So
okay,
from June onwards. No, no, no. And I will say this: it will never come back, ever, ever, ever. No, no, no.
It was
That
fun, but
won't be.
we realized that like people aren't ready for that because we
Yeah,
had a lot of messages like that one, and
yeah,
like at the end of the day, like what we think is scalable and what the people are ready for is very different. Now that being said, there is
yeah,
still a lot of cool like features with the token itself. And this is this is very
yeah,
important, by the way. I think this might be the most important thing when it comes to looking at Cyclics, what Cyclics is. You cannot judge Cyclics by the measure of a traditional crypto project because you go in there, you look at like Dex tools. It's like, oh, it's like modifiable. Oh, the contract is modifiable, and the token has a tax and a sell tax, and all this other stuff. It's like, well, yeah, I mean that's kind of the whole point. So the way that Cyclics works, there's a buy and a sell tax that really feed into the tokenomics. It's highly deflationary. It feeds both the treasury and you get random airdrops just for holding the token on every 200th transaction. So it's very unique, right? It's cyclical token supply because it does either mint or burn. And again, like those may not be features forever, but I think that they're helpful at the moment, and it's open to be adapting in the future, because that's really what I think people don't understand. It's like when you have a trusted team and you have a trusted founder, having a contract that's modifiable, having like the ability to adapt to the changing market is really important. Like, who's to say we don't want to go on to base because it's more scalable in the future? Who's to say we don't want to take the tax off one day when we're much further along and put it on centralized exchanges? Who knows?
Yep.
Right. And so I think that when you judge Cyclics as a project, you really need to understand who's building it and why it matters, really what it is.
But yeah, coming back to the question. Yeah, go ahead, Ty.
No, I was just gonna say I agree with Lucas. Like, who's behind the project? Like, that's why I've been so excited to do this kind of AMA, whatever you guys want to call it, and we should do this again. I think we should try to do this once every quarter. I think would be cool to do. And maybe next time we'll do a giveaway for the best question. We'll do
that's good.
Yeah, I'll do like a couple $100 giveaway in Cyclics for the best question while we're doing it. So we'll do that next time. So stay tuned for that. But anyways, go ahead.
Yeah, no, I was saying so for anyone buying tokens, there is no dragon hunt. Your tokens will not dwindle. That was stopped back in June. So you can just buy and chill if you just want to buy and chill and not have to trade them.
And you guys said you can stake this token, correct?
Yep. Yeah. So when we came, that's also why we wanted to. So the reason why we stopped the dragon hunt was also to make it more scalable, right? I mean, looking at the feedback initially, and that's something that we going back to the community, seeing that there's been a lot of people who were interested in the project, but then they come back and they see fewer tokens. So is that a good quote customer experience user to use a Web2 term? We said, well, if we want to scale this to 10,000, 20,000, 50,000 holders in the community, it's a bottleneck. That's the truth. So we said, okay, let's put that aside. On the staking side, yes. So the way it works on the staking side, you can literally just stake the tokens and get a multiplier based on the buybacks that we do. So Cyclics again is a business, right? The casino is a business. We will be using the revenue from the casino to buy back tokens and then distribute them to the stakers. And so the amount of tokens that will be bought is based on the revenue and the profit of the casino. So we'll be buying those tokens and then sending those to the stakers. That's how the staking, one of the many staking benefits, basically.
Love it, man. I'm excited, and I'm going to open it up for if anybody has any other questions before we go. Got a lot of people in here that are a big fan of CoinRock, and is CoinRock something that is going to be tokenized someday? There's a question for you.
It's something that we've been discussing. Yeah, maybe. We have a
Will there
few
be
other things.
will there be an incentive if you own a certain amount of Cyclics that you get a airdrop of? I'm just saying, is that an idea? I'm just throwing it out there. I don't know.
It's funny you mentioned that because I don't know if Kais is watching this, but literally we discussed this. It's in the notes about airdropping the Cyclist community with a project that actually, Lucas, you and I talked about this 3 days ago when I was driving. There is something coming up. There's always things moving at CoinRock, but yes, to answer your question, Cyclics holders will benefit from an airdrop at some point on something that hasn't even been announced yet, and
I like
that's
that.
in the near future. Yeah, so you will be
That's
airdropped,
awesome.
Ty.
All right, I'll let you guys know we're gonna do that.
Yeah.
Couple more questions here. So James Webinyama asks, what's the fee percentage for breaking your stake?
The unstake fee is 10%. If that's your question, unstaking.
And you
fee.
have to stake it for a certain amount of time to miss out on, so you don't need to.
No,
My question is, if you stake for a certain amount of time, are you always going to you're always going to have that 10% fee? Or
correct. Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
So you can
Okay.
stake. There's no requirement in time. You can stake and unstake any time, but the fee is always 10%.
And is it 10% of what your staking rewards were, or is it 10% of the whole bag?
No, it's 10% of the. Fuck, man. I need to ask Caius that. That's a good question, Ty. Let me.
As
ask,
of now,
Caius.
I believe it is 10% of your bag. Again, it's
I
very
think so.
early for the staking program. I think that there is a huge staking multiplier for staking at this point. That may be changed in the future. It's really just to see who's interested in really being around for the long term, because I feel like most people in crypto, like, for one thing, I'm very against staking tokens for most of the time, but I also think that, like, there's never been a team that's built this way. So for me, I think it makes sense if you're trying to be here for like 5 years. But again, it's very early. So, like, if you're staking a bag, just understand that, like, that may change in the future, that unstake tax. For right now, I believe it is 10% of the bag. That being said, once we have revenue in the door, a lot of these things will change with time, because, like, right now we just don't have the ability to tell you, like, what the revenue is going to be, what the distributions are going to be, what that looks like for the average person. So, right now it is at 10%, I believe, I'm pretty sure it is the full bag, just to make sure
I
that, like,
literally just pinged Kais and my partner about this. There's so many things happening sometimes. Like, that's a very good question. I know it's in the doc somewhere, but if he replies here, I'll just read it to you.
Well, if we don't get an answer tonight, just let me know,
We'll
and I'll
just
do.
post it.
I'll let my community know. I'll do a little video on it.
Yep.
But I mean, and I'm guessing, if it's 10%, if you stake long enough, it's probably still going to be worth it. I can't imagine. Why would you stake then?
I can't give financial advice, but I'll just say that the marketing, there's a lot being deployed on the marketing side starting today. So, there's a lot more people that will find out about CYG in the coming days and weeks.
Sounds good. A couple more questions here. So, what do you feel the biggest challenge or obstacle has been from Frankie J?
I mean, on the building side, I would say really just getting to a place where the product is great. That's the toughest thing. Because again, building this is very different to launching a meme, very different to building even a bot. When you're building the full infrastructure from scratch, it's very difficult. You need, first of all, you need multiple developers because you can't build a platform like this with just one. And if you do, it's a huge risk because everything relies on one. Right now, if we have 1 or 2 developers leaving, it doesn't matter because we have a full team. So that's one thing, one of the challenges. The other thing really on the challenge side is, I would say, just communicating what you want to do and having the and building trust with the community, which is something that very few projects do. And building trust takes time, right? I mean, there's been many instances where we did an AMA where there's no real news, or where we put an update out and there's no real news because it was boring. For example, the summer was very boring, and so you have to communicate that to the community and say, hey guys, this is going to be, this is the cranes are out, we're digging holes.
Another 2 weeks. It's funny because it's like
very difficult.
Nobody else would have put up with that, but the way you were communicating it, like people understood, during the summer, it was a very difficult time to be in the market. People were scared. It was also not just that things were taking long on the dev side, but people were very afraid. And it's like, no, you have to believe in the vision, believe in something. And it goes back to like attracting the right kind of holders. Like this project was born in my Telegram, literally made by the Telegram, but funded by the Telegram, like supported by people like you, Ty, who are like friends of mine in the space. And I feel like that's really special. And that's why we're going to win because, and this is a little selfish, I think I attract a certain kind of people. I really do. I don't think we would be here where we are today. We have relationships with all the top holders. I can probably tell you where 60 to 70% of the supply is, just myself. No one else can say that, and some of these people I've known for years. I literally was meeting up with some of the top holders in person over the summer, just random community members. So when it comes to like the quality of the holder, truthfully, it's what matters. I mean, like we can sit here and build the best product in the world, but if no one's going to use it, no one cares. I mean, look at like what's a good example of this? Look at how hard they've tried to build things in some of these layer ones, and just nobody cares because the users aren't there. You have to meet people where they are, and I think that no one is better in the game at doing that than Matthias as a communicator on the building side and me on the marketing side as like being a guy who's like in the trenches. So that's why I love working with Matthias. I really have no interest in working with anyone other than Matthias when it comes to building. There's no second best. There is none. And I think that'll become incredibly apparent, not just from like Cyclix, but also from the other things that we're doing in the Triforce with Jeetbot and with VaultFi. I'm very excited to help bring these to market, and I think it's going to be, very bullish, exciting. Justin's he's fixing some orange chicken over there. He needed it today. Yeah.
So last question, we'll let you guys go. I know it's early over there and late for us. Has there been any talk? This is from Prit on X. Has there been any talk of 1/3 of supply being locked up, or any of the supply being locked up? That's his question here. So,
yes, Lucas mentioned that about the revesting. Do you want to go over that again?
Sure. Yeah. So the top holders, including myself and the team and people who just market bought people who were in from the pre-sale, I went out and because I had realized that essentially the vision had evolved so greatly from the pre-sale, because originally it was a much smaller casino. It was it wasn't such a grandiose endeavor. Now we're looking at multi-languages, multiple different hundreds of games. Like it's really gotten big. And so the vesting was extremely quick because it was just kind of the experiment. It was the blueprint, and it became so much more than what it was. And I was like, okay, well, if we're really going to take this to the next level, we need to make sure that there's not like an over allocated amount of supply in just random people's hands. Like, can they be trusted? Because it's important. And so I got everyone together, all the top holders in a chat. And I said, all right, guys, here's what we're going to do. We're going to lock our tokens up for 12 months. They were like, huh? I was like, yeah. And here's what we're going to do. And they did. And I think it was like, of the 50 people in that chat, almost all of them have. For 50 or 90% were the two options. I think it was 80% that did 90, and the rest did 50. And the few people who didn't, I have close relationships with, and we have a plan to reduce their supply, because in order to scale a project, you need to have like proper vesting, and especially when it's built from the ground up, like the community has a chance to get in super early. You'll never find a chance to get in this early on any other project ever, even at this market cap. I've never seen it. And that comes with some responsibilities. And thankfully, comes back to the quality of the holders. Like there's an understanding among the holders it had to be done. And so it was. And that brings the total supply locked to, I think, 70%, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, over 70% of the tokens are out of circulation. So yes, it's a huge deal. And also it shows the trust between all parties, right? They trust us to do something, because they've seen now that there was so many opportunities, and you both have seen this, right, over the years. Teams take the money, run away. They'll build a shady product and then disappear. And Lucas said this, like literally the Telegram gets deleted, the Twitter gets deleted, and that's it. We putting up with a lot of pain on the hiring side, on the development side, And why is it always 2 weeks? Because you think that's the thing with building these platforms. That this is not the first time. I've built large scale platforms in the past. I had over 40 employees back in Estonia. I built a SaaS company in 2013. So this is not the first time I've done I've built these platforms. It's always like the closer you get to the finish line, it's like the goalposts keep moving. It's very difficult, and so that's why now we're so excited about actually getting it now out today in the next 24 hours.
This is a very interesting question.
This is the last question we're gonna take for the night, because I got to go spend time with my wife and kids, or they'll kill me. She'll kill me. But yeah, this is actually my favorite question of the night, Fire Guy. When will CYG be listed on exchanges? Right now, I know you can get CYG on Uniswap and MetaMask. I'm not sure if it's available on Coinbase Wallet. You can get it on there too, right?
Yes. Anything that's Ethereum based, you can purchase it from any decentralized wallet.
ERC20 based. Okay, so but in terms of like a Coinbase listing or a Mexi listing and stuff like that, is that in the works? Is that, I guess we'll go over that.
Exchanges are not the value add people think they are. Like, you'll get more speculation from just the saying it's going on an exchange because people think that's something to be excited about rather than just listing it. And it's funny because I had a friend of mine who was hanging out with the founder of Bybit. Great exchange. We've been to their offices. We did an event there over the summer. Yep. And he's like, would you like me to talk to him about listing Cyclex? And I'm like, maybe in the future, but right now, I don't think it's a value add. I don't think being on exchanges, just giving them supply to potentially sell, not that Bybit would do that, but there's exchanges that certainly would, or manipulate the price. We've seen projects, have issues with that. And centralized exchanges have become much less of a value add. So I really don't think there's a need for them right now. Now, in the future, when we're further down the line, changing the tokenomics, making it more liquid, potentially putting on exchanges at that point, that's a conversation. But I think that's not something we even need to be thinking about for a while, because why would we? The exchanges really don't add that much value. Eventually, yes, but we have a long ways to go. And that's kind of my opinion on the whole matter. I mean, Matthias, maybe you feel differently about the value out of exchanges, but we've done so well without any, honestly.
Yep. Yeah. So right now, no. Down the line, yes. That's the very simple answer.
Is this just like for listings for next bull run? We're going to be focusing on it, after this bull run. Is this something
this is short term. I mean, 2025. I think we'll have something in mind for that.
Okay. Yeah. So it's not like we're talking 5 years from now. You're talking in the next 12 to 15 months.
Oh,
yes.
Yes. That's a long time in crypto, but yes, for sure.
This cycle.
But for right now, there's not a huge need. I mean, I think that eventually, yes, but for right now, I don't think there's a need. Truthfully, I don't.
I got to take one more because James has actually another really good question. I promise this will be the last one. Thoughts on building on ETH compared to other chains?
So this is a good question. The casino itself is not on the blockchain. So it's a very good question. There's so many things to discuss. We haven't even mentioned this, but the casino itself is what you would call a Web2 casino, right? It's not built on the blockchain. CYG, of course, is on ETH, right? So that's two separate things. So the token itself is on ETH, so the smart contract and everything is ETH versus Sol or other blockchains. The casino itself is not on the blockchain. When I mentioned about the provably fair aspect, that's something that you can verify yourself by looking at the seed information and everything. But yeah, I hope that clears things up. So cool. It's not on the blockchain. I just have a reply here for everyone about the unstaking. Unstaking only affects what you staked originally. That's the actually good timing on the on that reply. So for someone who
awesome
staking, yeah,
awesome. Well, guys, it's been awesome. This has been great. We're just about to eclipse the 3,500 people watching live right now, minus however many bots that is. But it's still there's a good amount of people that came to see this.
Still
tonight.
Very cool.
Very good.
Yes, this was very successful, and it's amazing to me. This is just kind of side note. I'll leave you with it. It's amazing to me how I go on X and I get 3,500 people watching, and I have 18,000 followers. But if I go on TikTok with 600,000 followers, I get 300 people watching. So with that said, I'll just let you guys think about that for a minute. Make sure you guys like and follow and share this when you guys see it again. And do you guys, I guess real quick, just so people can follow Cyclics, Javi, can we put that the X in the ticker at the bottom? And then also, is there anything else you guys want people to follow? Lucas, if you want to put yours in the chat, I can have Javi put at the bottom or in the chat. So you guys can go
let
follow
them
these
try
guys.
and find me. Let them try and find me.
It's the big guy with the blonde
wanna
hair. He's
find
not
me,
hard to find.
Yeah, if they want to find me, they can find me. Shout out to Frankie in the chat, Argon for being there. I love you guys. And for those of you who are watching and are ready to take that next step of like actually seeing what real building looks like, come join the Cyclics Telegram. Check us out on Twitter. This is very slowly, but then all at once. Very exciting to bring this to market. And I'm very excited to prove to everyone who said that it couldn't be done this way, that the community could never be put first, truthfully put first, that it couldn't be done to build a casino, multinational, fully licensed for less than $500,000. Truthfully, I want to see their face when we launch these products and when we build things the right way, because it's so simple to say, build things the right way, but who does it? Almost nobody. It took me 8 years to find Matthias. I've been through more pain and suffering. And Jensen Huang, the founder of NVIDIA, said this too. He said, if I knew how much suffering it would take to get to where I am today, I probably would have never done it. Same here, but we're here now. And I wouldn't be the person I am today without all those failed partnerships. And it's what led me to being here at this moment. You rarely, maybe once in a lifetime, at least once in a decade opportunity to build with people like Matthias, with people like the Cyclics community, the CoinRock community. It's very exciting. So like I dropped everything. I'm all in basically.
Hey, I said this the other day. This is actually my biggest bag. So, and I own a lot of fucking crypto. So, I own multiple millions in crypto, and this is my biggest bag. So, I hope the best for this project, and we'll do this again. We'll do it on X. We'll do a Spaces, or what do you call this, Javi? Just live stream. We'll do a Spaces. We'll do a bunch of stuff. I hope to have you guys on again, and thank you guys for being here. And we will see you guys next time.
Thank you guys. I'll talk soon.